Welcome to Working Dog Radio.
All right, everybody, we are back. Working Dog Radio, broadcasting the bite. Eric and Ted, as usual. Ted, what is going on in Tulsa, Oklahoma?
Thunderstorms. It's spring. I'm dodging thunderstorms. I had to reboot all my stuff before we started recording because it's been windy and fucking rain, thunderstorms. So about every 6 to 8 days we get gnarly storms come through. So it's that time of year. What about you?
No, just all the usual shit. Got Hold the Line coming up. What, a couple weeks? I got, I'll be in Fond du Lac, Wisconsin after that. I got 3 seminars and stuff in May. It's busy. Half of June is good. And then I'm doing just a one dog detection handler school, half of June in July. So that's about it. Working pet dogs. I got an English Mastiff puppy who is 12 weeks old. He's already 45 pounds. He's fucking huge. Buddy of mine that was a canine handler, the county that used to train with us, it's his dog. They're expecting him to be 200 pounds. So good luck, Dale. He already shits the size of a grown, German Shepherd.
A 200-pound dog.
Yeah, the mom, which the handler owns, is 170. And then the father is dead. They come from straws that were saved. But he's in a crate in the other room here, chilling out. But the problem is I can't get a ton of work out of him. I mean, I've had him for 4 or 5 days. But because he's growing, he just sleeps all the time. I got to coax him out of the crate. He's just he's funny. He's funny. Sleeps all night in the crate. He's good. So got a few other dogs and winding down on that before Hold the Line, which will be fun. Ted and I are both teaching. If you haven't signed up yet, I think you can still register, but I don't know about staying at the host hotel. I know they extended it for him, but it's going to be a good time, good seminar. Come down to the booth at the vendor hall and say hi to us and hang out. I think I'm bringing some book copies too, so be signing those and giving them away. This episode is brought to you by KINETIC Dog Food, KINETICDogFood.com. Ted and I love it, man. It's such a really, really good high-performance dog food, but also their 24K formula. We use it for training. It is amazing. A nice big piece. No chicken in that particular formula. So if you get a new dog in from Europe, you don't know if he's allergic or not, don't worry about it. Check it out, KINETICDogFood.com.
Our friends out in North Carolina at Highland Canine Training run great green and finished dog programs, as well as an online and in-person police supervisor course. Hit them up at HighlandCanineTraining.com. That's letter K number 9, HighlandCanine.com. 30% off the discount code WDR30.
This episode also brought to you by Horizon Structures, horizonstructures.com. They will custom build you a kennel, drop it off, hook it up to your water and electric, and have that thing running with dogs in it the same day. They can custom build one. They got some already pre-built. Check them out on their website, horizonstructures.com. Anything you need from mild to wild, they're there.
One of the longtime supporters of the show has been Ray Allen Canine in Colorado Springs, Colorado. They've been around forever. RayAllen.com, where you can buy literally everything but the handler of the dog and the patrol vehicle. Everything else you can get from them. Hit them up, WDR10RAY for 10% off your order. That's WDR, the numbers 10RAY.
One of our longest sponsors is DOGTRA, DOGTRA Official, DOGTRA.com. We love DOGTRA. Their products are so good. Their e-collars, their ball poppers. Ted uses all kinds of different things at his place, from pet dog e-collars to working dog e-collars. He loves the hands-free 1900S. They've come out with some new models lately and an amazing new bark collar called the Smart Bark Collar. Check them out. Dogtra.com, WDR10 for 10% off a single item over $200. Dogtra.com.
Somebody that's been with us since the beginning is Arnaud out in Vegas at ALM Canine Equipment. As if you follow me on social media, you see me wearing my ALM suits all the time. It's all I wear. I've got several of them. Eric's got several of them. We love Arnaud. We love ALM, custom made in Vegas. WDR or WD Radio for 10% off. That's WD Radio for 10% off. ALM Canine Equipment. That's letter K number 9. ALMCanineEquipment.com.
Well, we just finished up an episode with somebody else from San Diego, and now, actually, last time we had him on, he wasn't in San Diego, it was in Colorado. And last time, I think we had him on at Hits, if I remember correctly, right? Is that the Yeah, it was him and Brian. Anyway, we today we have Billy Sawyer on again. Billy, what's going on, man?
How you doing, guys? Appreciate you having me on too.
Doing good. Yeah, for sure.
How's things in the IB?
Smelly.
Yeah.
They supposedly dumped about, I don't know, billions of dollars into fixing this whole Tijuana River dump off from Mexico that's happening and getting dumped into our ocean. But I wake up at about 2 or 3 a.m. every night, shut all the windows so that I can not taste it in my sleep.
No, that's so bad.
It's disgusting.
Don't leave your bicycle outside. That should be gone in seconds.
Yeah,
But-
it's a little wild out here.
Yeah, but the IB is affordable. Imperial Beach is, I liked it. You know, I liked the IB when I was out that way hanging out. So,
Yeah, it's quiet. We got good neighbors. It's actually chilled out a lot. They've kind of built up downtown, or I say downtown, the beach. So it's becoming a little bit more family friendly with everything than it used to be. Even though the police did just shoot somebody downtown or at the beach recently.
It happens. It's a large city. It happens. Whatever. I mean, so since we've had you on last time, you have transitioned out of law enforcement, and you're now running pet program out in San Diego.
Yep. I got done with law enforcement in 2024. Initially went out to hang out with the guys down in Colorado Springs at Fort Carson, was training dogs with them, and then got a job offer out here in San Diego that sounded kind of fun. So I figured I'd sign up and pack up all my stuff and move out here.
that's cool. No snow, though. It's nice. I know you liked the snow, though, didn't you?
Yeah, I kind of miss it. I don't like working in the snow. So if I could never work another dog in the snow ever again, that would be amazing. But if I could just go visit it and snowboard, that's good enough.
Ted, how long did it take you when you quit working in mountain stuff to be like, yeah, I'm okay. I miss it.
If I never see another snowflake again my entire life, I'll be happy. Like I don't ever want to see snow again. I mean, when we did those HRDs up in Canada, it was cold as shit, and then we did that one up in Buffalo, and I was like,
Oh, that was the worst. The worst.
like standing at the great. We had a lot of fun, great teams, but god damn it, it was cold. I mean, it was like standing. The entire building was made out of granite. It was that train station, and it was I was like, I know what the inside of a Cold Stone Creamery feels like now, like because it was cold.
3 days nonstop. It was
horrible. And of course, the Buffalo and the Niagara County guys are like, "Oh, it's not that bad. It's November."
Yeah.
I'm like, whatever, dude. This is horrible.
that was worse. That's where I learned that trick of wearing like rubber surgical gloves underneath your gloves, dude. That's the money. It's so good. Your hands will sweat. I don't care how cold out it is. You'll be pouring water out of your gloves. Because I was running marathons back then. I took that and I started wearing those when I was running and training in the winter for a spring marathon. It would be like 4 degrees out and my hands would be fine. It was good. I liked it.
Yeah.
You guys learned what other tricks do you learn in Colorado there, Billy? Because Billy's not from Colorado. He's a Florida boy, had to acclimate.
Yeah. I don't know. Colorado's different because one thing that messed with me was the altitude when you first get out there. Holy smokes, man. Every time I go back and visit, nosebleeds. It's like a desert. People don't realize it's dry as can be, even though it snows. Barely ever rains. So that messed with me probably more than the cold. When I got out there, I was just, I don't know, throw on a bunch of layers. And unless you were a canine handler, then thermals, and that's about it because you're going to be sweating as you're running around with a dog. But
Yeah, I hated winter, working a patrol in the winter, whether it was a patrol or with a canine, because it's a whole process. How much do I wear? What do I got to take off? How thick of a coat should I wear? My gloves, can I still handle the leash? Can I, work my gun? But my fucking hands are freezing. I absolutely hated it.
yeah,
it.
you throw,
So,
you
Ted,
throw
what do we-
somebody on a perimeter for hours on end, and then you
Yeah,
ask them
God.
if they had to pull the trigger, they'd never be able to do it. Their fingers aren't working.
No, they can
You got to rotate
barely even
people
get their
in
gun
and
out.
Yep.
Yeah. Ted, what are we going to talk about?
Well, Billy and I were talking about it the other day via text, and I don't know. I think we've both kind of come to the conclusion that a lot of things have changed, even in the last like 5 or 6 years, with dog selections as dogs coming in from Europe. And I don't think we're going to talk like specifically about selection, but kind of like the expectations and stuff. Because part of what Billy's doing now is selecting green dogs for detection, apprehension, and tracking and that kind of stuff, similar to what we're doing with the law enforcement side. And Billy's bought dogs from me before, so I mean, I know we've kind of on the same type of page. But Billy, you're getting ready to go over, where are you going? Northern Europe here, what, a couple weeks?
Yeah, bouncing around probably 3 or 4 different countries at the end of the month. So
Did you already booked your ticket?
no, I have not. Looking at it right now, it's expensive.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna kill the travel budget.
Oh, man. So, you know, I guess we can all three kind of talk about like what happened within the last, I don't know, like Eric, when you started, I mean, we always hear the story about Gina when you and Chris got dogs. When I can't remember Chris's dog's name, but you got Gina and he got whatever the dog that he had's name was, Zeke. And you guys, things have changed since then for sure. And things have even changed within the last couple of years. So, Billy, why don't you like start off a little bit about like some of the unrealistic expectations, and then we can kind of fill in from there.
All right, this episode is brought to you in part by KINETIC Dog Food, KINETICDogFood.com. We've been using KINETIC for quite a while at the kennel here at Torchlight. We feed the 26 and the 28K formula in feeding for the dogs over there, but I also use the 24K for all of my imprinting for obedience and imprinting for tracking. If you follow me, you've seen me do the tracking stuff where I do the Dick Stahl method, who we've also had on the show. But it's great because it's large and it doesn't get greasy and gross in the pouch. I've seen a lot of dudes with drop pouches that look like they're carrying dirty socks around, and it's disgusting. This doesn't do that. It's not greasy. Also, it's not a chicken-based formula, so if you get dogs in from Europe, you're not sure if the stomach is going to handle it. And it's a fairly low-calorie version too, so you can do 1,000,000 reps and not have to worry about dog getting fat. KINETICDogFood.com. Also, we've had the guys on the show before, and they talk about it, but they do a lot to make sure that the protein bases are nice and pure, and that the stuff that they're adding to it actually adds additive to it, and they're not filling it with pocket lint and sawdust like a lot of other foods. So hit them up, KINETICDogFood.com.
Yeah, sure. I think there's a lot of things going on, obviously, over in Europe. We all know that if you talk to anybody that's over there, sports are dying, right? So, and with that, because the newer generation, a bunch of my buddies over there, they say that you can't get kids off the phone, so they're definitely not out there training dogs anymore. So, where you used to have a club where you'd see anywhere from sometimes 50 to 80 people show up, it's like 4 or 5 people nowadays. So if you're not getting that, you're also not getting dogs that are being exposed to everything like they used to be able to, like the people that used to raise them do. So you've got these big vendors over there, basically we know the Eastern Bloc of Europe, all they're doing is they bring them out of the kennel, they back tie them, they spin them up, and then they put them back at the kennel at the end of the day after they've turned them into little crackheads and possessive monsters. And I think you're seeing the same thing in Holland and everywhere else. Nobody has time for it anymore, and the older guys, they know it's almost done. At least that's the word that I'm being told, is these guys over there believe that it's done inside of 5 years for them, and that's kind of scary for us. So, especially when still most of our dogs come from there. But I mean, good dogs are still coming out of there, but I think the old days where, like, my very first dog, I'm way too young, 10 months old, but at 10 months old, I mean, he was an absolute rock star. I just don't see, not saying you're not getting them, they exist, but I hear a lot of people, I just heard somebody on a podcast recently say that, as the person purchasing from a vendor, that you better expect only nothing but rock stars. I'm like, I don't know very many vendors that are getting off a kennel full of rock stars anymore, because they're puppies. We're dealing with little babies that we're expecting to act like men. And it just, I don't know. Little tough.
Yeah, we've noticed it started getting younger and younger, and you're right. It's spinning them up. You have a dog that comes from certain parts of Europe. You pull out a ball on a rope or a Kong on a rope, you can forget getting that thing back for a while. Like you might end up getting bit over that thing.
And yeah. I think when you guys came down and looked at Snap and Racky and those guys, we kind of had this conversation, right? And they're preparing the dogs for testing and not for training. And for the better, I think the North Americans in particular have gotten a lot better, or I don't necessarily better, but more effective with training the dogs, whether in all phases of operation, whether it's apprehension work, detection work, and tracking work. And we've moved the goalpost at least for our individual markets anyway, have moved the goalpost down, and the dogs haven't changed. They've gotten a little younger, and there's less of them also. And, now we're competing too. Everybody's fishing out of the same pond, and notoriously the Americans don't pay the least, or we pay the least, or we don't pay like what other countries and other areas of the world do. Because I think because somebody else asked me this a couple of weeks ago, and they're like, well, what do you think the problem is? They're like, why don't we buy American dogs? Like, why don't Americans have a breeding program? And that's a long conversation. And I mean, you can look at Lackland. I mean, Lackland has done it with varying degrees of success. I would say the longest running successful program like in the United States. And, I don't know how we move that to other parts of the country on a large enough scale. That's the thing that I think a lot of Europeans, and for that matter, the Americans, don't understand, is like most countries in Europe aren't that big, and the United States is freaking huge. And I mean, driving from Atlanta, like when I go to pick up dogs, I drive to Houston. It's 8 hours. It's like driving from Warsaw, Poland to the Black Sea in like one day and back to pick up dogs. And people are like, oh shit, that's fucking huge. So I think there's a myriad of issues. And, I've thought for years that they prepare these dogs for selection and not for training. Because, I mean, there's a ton of detraining that happens once they get here too, depending on the age of the dog, especially if they get older. They may have some habits that aren't necessarily the healthiest for what we're doing. And it takes a little bit to kind of unprogram that. So, that said, the selection requirements haven't changed, but I think we've had some people try and look at, an 11-month-old dog through the lens of a 20-month-old dog. And I'm like, bro, he's literally half the age. Like in a year, 10 or 11 months from now, we can run these same things and expect a different outcome. But, and then there's the double-edged sword. As the older a dog gets, rarely do they just sit and not get any work. I mean, I can't remember the last time I came across like a 15, 16, 18, 19-month-old dog in Europe that had zero work done to it, or very little. And that work is not always in line with, I wasn't going to say good, but I mean, it's probably good for somebody. It's just not good for us. They're not good for me. So varying degrees of success on that line. So it's become a problem. There's a bottleneck. And Billy, when you said like those guys think it ends in 5 years, like what are they talking about specifically?
Well, I was told by several people that they think that Europe is done, that they'll be completely out of the game compared to maybe somewhere else. That they just don't have. There's a lot that they don't have going into the system to feed this monster machine right now, which is not just us. I think people don't realize, like you just said, it's not just America, but we're the cheapest. I mean, look what we do with our canine handlers. We expect admins are like, we want you to go through a 4-week or 8-week academy, and they won't even give you the time, let alone fund your canine units. So why do you think they're going to spend the money that they should be paying to get these dogs? So
the one thing is interesting though is out in California there are a lot of places that are paying $20,000 on green dogs. And there's some places in Texas doing it now, which
South Florida.
Yeah. And the problem with, first of all, that's ridiculous. But the problem with that too is agencies aren't used to that. And they're just not going to pay it. They're not going to pay 20 grand. There's some that are, but they're not going to pay the 20 grand. So now they're just not going to have dogs.
And everything's a fundraiser to even pay for half the dogs anyway. So it's insane.
So what's your expectations of this trip coming up?
Living on a prayer? I don't know. I mean, we'll see. I've got a couple guys that are trying to look out for us. So we'll see. I'm looking for myself, and I'm looking for a group of guys. So we'll see what we come out with. My guess is a few bangers, and we won't take anything else, I guess. But
Ted and I have a vendor that we're both using from Germany. He drives all over the European countryside and goes to farmers and gets them. I don't even know if he goes to clubs that often. So when you're talking to your friends over there, when they say Europe is done, do they mean because of the clubs will be done?
I think I don't know if it's that or if it's a combination of everything. I think there's a lot of greed that went into it. The demand went through the roof. Everybody's still chasing it. And it's actually, I think we kind of created this monster from traveling around different countries, talking to a lot of guys. They all try to mimic what they think that we are doing in the United States. So you've got all these other countries just basically trying to compete with the United States of America as far as what their programs look like. And all that did was throw the demand through the roof as well. So now, but they're willing to pay more money. As a businessman,
Hey, I just want to hop in here real quick and talk about some people that have been with us since the very beginning. I helped make this entire show possible. It's the guys from Colorado Springs, Ray Allen Manufacturing. They've been around since the 70s and have been producing world-leading canine equipment for the entirety of their existence. You can get literally everything from them except for the dog, the car, and the handler. Everything else they got covered. Inserts, heat alarms, harnesses, leashes, ball poppers, e-collars, everything else that Hermspranger makes, and they have everything available. It's a one-stop shop. If you're a canine handler listening to this, your admins love working with them. They know how to bill, and you can buy everything. So admins just have to write one check. Since we have been partnered with them, they've been gracious enough to grant a discount code. This one's going to work until the end of March of 2026. So you're going to type in WDR RAM. That'll work till the end of March to get you 10% off anything you want out of there. But yeah, go check them out. Everything you need for working dog, for police dog, for sport dog, and for pet. Hit them up. RayAllen.com.
I think the future is going to, if that's the case, is going to be Mexico. I know a lot of people are getting dogs out of Mexico, and they say they've been pretty successful.
I mean, there was a vendor, well, before Little Rock Canine, before Tony passed away, they would get a lot of dogs out of Mexico and had some success. I mean, I'd seen a lot of those dogs as they're fairly close to us. And I mean, they were nice dogs. I mean, for sure. Easily as nice as anything that was coming from over there from Europe.
I know a couple of guys a few years ago said they had to go to Mexico and they screened like 70 dogs and took like one. But now I think that's turned around. Again, once they figure out what we want or what they think we want, they're going to, build the rooms with the cabinets and all desks and filled with all that stuff and hide balls in there and teach the dog to dig a ball out of the drawer, which Ted hates.
that's not your favorite thing.
No, it's just because of that. Just because of the fucking Idaho thing, right? And then now, which is turned into the West Virginia thing. Where are all these cases coming out of now? And now, while I understand that, we are able to overcome that fairly quickly by, some better report writing and some better articulation of like what we're seeing. The point is, it happened. And it's, when I tell the Europeans and I say, look, we don't want them touching stuff and then having to explain to them how the legal system works here is like, look, we have like 3 layers of legal system, sometimes 4. And they're like, what? Like, look, man, it's just the way that it is here. And, so when I was talking to a trainer, one of the trainers over in the Eastern Bloc country, and I literally showed him a video from Idaho, from where the dog touched the car. And I told him, I said, look, here's the court decision on this from the state Supreme Court. And they vacated a sentence because of this. And he's like, he kind of made a face. I'm like, it has nothing to do with dog training, dude. This is 100% a legal question. But this is why we don't want dogs digging. There hasn't been a legitimate narcotics or explosive dog, for that matter, that's an active alert. And shit, I can't remember the last time I saw one working. Have you seen, Eric, them?
Yeah, sure. There's a guy in this state who, I think he's retiring. He's got a big company. He's got some contract for large departments, and he teaches aggressive alert. He also teaches fucking bark and hold. Yeah. Shits and bullshit. I don't know why it's still a thing. Bark and hold is very litigious and absolutely ridiculous. If you're training bark and hold, what are you fucking even doing? Like, really seriously, what are you even fucking doing in police work? Training bark and hold on a human being suspect, asking a dog to articulate that he saw the guy moved. So in my opinion, if you're a bark and hold handler and your dog gets a bite and you're not standing there to see it, you are lying on your report or making shit up and guessing. Well, he must have moved. How the fuck do you know?
About a month ago or so, maybe 6 weeks, KINETIC reached out to me. There's apparently, I'm not going to mention where this guy's from, but there's an attorney somewhere up near you, Eric. I don't think he's in Ohio, somewhere up there, that during, I don't know what the context is, but it's claiming that the 50 largest agencies in the country are all bark and hold. And I was like, no, I 100%. And he asked me about TPD in Oklahoma City. And I'm like, I can 1000% tell you that they are not bark and hold. So we put him in contact with Lieutenant Green at OKC. But I mean, he was like, yeah, we don't do that. Like, no, we do not have that policy. But it's interesting that it's still like, it's 2026 and it's still like a thing. Even if that, and that Florida report was written, or that Florida study was done, I want to say 2010 or 9 or somewhere in the early, before the teens, where those dogs actually ended up biting more people than the fine and bite dogs. But either way, yeah, bark and hold's fucking not. There's this department that's close to me that about every year they ask for a quote for a dual purpose dog, and we just decline. I won't even quote it because they specifically ask for bark and hold, and I just kind of respectfully say I just refuse to do it. So no, we're not going to do it. But you know, good luck. And about every year they're well funded, you know, whatever. So, but we're close. So they ask every year. I'm like, no, sorry, not going to do it.
I mean, they eat their own poop, and we want them to make a decision on use of force. I don't know.
What are you seeing out where you're at now, the departments of want in a dog?
I was just talking to somebody else about this actually, because they were getting frustrated with a whole shipment of dogs that they had gotten in from somebody over in Europe, and he's like, they're cheating us, they're this and that, and I was like, bro, I don't know if they really are, or we are getting such young dogs that aren't being exposed to anything, that I think that at some point we're going to just have to look at ourselves and realize that we're going to spend a little bit more time developing the dog and getting him to a certain point. Then we turn around and put them on the street. But I think everybody thinks that they want the exact same thing. Man, I don't know. I don't see it all the time. The only time that I ever see it is what they think they have is really just an uncontrolled dog on their hands, that when you have a lot of drive, it's hiding a lot of things that are actually internally happening with that dog. So I don't know. Yeah, I just imported 3 from Poland right now. I've got 3 Dutchies. I'm actually sitting on 5 Dutchies. One of them sold, 2 of them are going also, but 3 are actually brothers from the exact same litter. They are completely different dogs. One of them is just like Racky, except for a nicer version. I remember oh my
Racky's a nice
God. Yeah. It probably is now. Yeah. I remember when Ted was like, you can't hold the leash. I'm like, what? He's like, yeah, he's a little crazy. He just bit anything that moved. So I pulled him out of the kennel, and that's how he was. He wanted to bite everything that moved except for me, which I was like, thank God. But anybody else that was nearby. So if you were holding the leash, you were good. But if anybody else is nearby, he still kind of challenges you. So I got all the way to the other 2 are a little bit more social and still not calm, but a little bit more social on that end. Still crazy monsters that just want to die rather than let go of a toy, though. So
Where are you keeping these dogs?
I've got kennels right now. They're in my van. They travel with me as I travel around. But I've got outdoor kennels in the backyard and a couple of kennels indoors. So they get trained every day though. So they don't come sit at my house and do nothing. So we go right into everything. I'm starting them on healing already, and then we're gonna go right into the biggest thing that I need right away is a verbal out. I can't sit here and fight dogs all day long because they decided to bite something. So that gets old fast.
Yeah, who was it was telling me? I think it was Jim O'Brien. Yeah, said that he's getting dogs in from Europe, and he's not letting them see a toy or a ball for weeks. I mean, he'll be working, but he just works for food instead of the ball because they spin them up so much they don't want to let go of it. And I've had that. I've had that on dogs too, because that's what they think we want, and it's it can be problematic, for sure.
All right, our next sponsor is really good for the business side of this. If you're in the business of breeding or raising police dogs, or even just regular dogs, pets, or gun dogs, or whatever, one of the biggest hassles that we have to deal with is housing. Making sure it's safe, making sure it's high quality, all these things, make sure it's sterile, it's easy to clean, we can feed. If not, it just creates an infinitely higher workload. On top of that, it's expensive. One of our sponsors from Horizon Structures, they do a great job at making a plug and play drop ready to go as soon as it hits the deck. in your location, you have a gravel pad, hook it up to electricity and water. You can put dogs in it that afternoon, and all the guesswork is taken out of it. It's ready to go as soon as it gets there, and you can go from mild to wild. I've seen some that have stainless steel on the inside. It looks like an operating room. It comes with its own air conditioner, all the way down to just like a basic one you need to put in the backyard to satisfy your policy requirements. If you're a canine handler out in the back for a 10 by 10, he's got an indoor outdoor. He's got a little outdoor thing that's elevated, so he doesn't have to stand in any of his waste, and it's easy to clean. So everything from all the way from a single dog all the way up to, I think they do like, what do they do, Eric? Like they do like 16 and 18 like large sizes. So hit them up, horizonstructures.com, and they will get you set up quickly.
That's a good point. Like, I think I don't know, 15, 18 years ago, no one talked about social dogs. Like, that was not a thing. I didn't hear that term used in the way that we use it now until, man, like, I think the first time Trump was in office is the first time I really heard it, like people talking about it a lot. Like, the dog needs to be social, it needs to be this, it needs to be that, it needs to be all these things. And I remember before then, it was not even like really, it wasn't even really a topic or like a selection criteria. I don't ever remember. In fact, I remember being at a large kennel, two very large kennels in the U.S. during a selection day early on in my career. So I'm talking about like early 2000s. And that word, I didn't hear that word at all over a 3-day testing cycle at all. And no one talked about it. No one cared. Now it's a thing, and then Eric, you're famous about you're not gay if you use food. So that's a thing. And, even my old partner, right, like wouldn't use food. It was all pressure. It's all prong. It's all E. He still trains that way to this day. So with the exception of tracking, but I mean, still it's all pressure, which, and I think, I've gotten multiple dogs in recently within the last year, that do not know how to take food out of a hand. Do not understand the concept of working for food with a handler. Like, they don't understand how to engage with somebody holding the leash, I guess is the best way to say it. They know how to engage with everything, just the dog Billy's talking about right now. They know how to engage with everything that's not connected to the leash, but they do not understand how to engage with the person holding the leash. Safe way, I guess, is the best way to say it. Like, in a way where it's not like I'm going to have to hang him or he's going to try and kill me, or I'm going to try and kill him. And perfect example, we had a dog recently that came in that when they sold him to me, to their credit, and I think, Billy, you hit on this a minute ago, like sports have changed over there. The thing that's changed is a lot of those places now, there's no prong and no e-collars allowed. And it has substantially changed the way that they select dogs over there, because a lot of the dogs that I've gotten, they're like, nope, send him to the Americans. We can't do anything with him. Because, I mean, they don't do a ton of food training, or they're not good at it. I don't know what the deal is. But we got a dog in recently that you would try and feed him and he'd bite you. Tried to bite me, God damn it, like multiple times a day for weeks. And I finally got sick of it, and I was like, all right. I put him on a pinch and dead ringed it and had him with a focused heel in, I don't know, 15 minutes. And he'd already been shown how to do it. I was like, oh, you know how to work for pressure. Once I layered an e-collar on over it, within a day, we had down in motion, down at distance, silent recall. Like, the dog already knew how to do it. And it was obvious he had been trained either with avoidance or with a ton of prey, either way. But I mean, the dog understood pressure very well. Then he figured out how to work for food. But that's one thing that I think has changed even in the last, I don't know, 10 years. We use a lot of food training that I don't know that the vendors over there are starting dogs that way, because it requires a lot more time. It's a lot, it's a lot more involved than just than staking them out and swinging a ball in their face and then putting them back up. So
Yeah, these three, you just said it, hit the nail on the head. They I could not get them to. They actually didn't even really want to eat food when they got here at all, even if I put it in a bowl. So I was like, okay, we're going through the hand, and they would not. They just absolutely refused to take it from my hand and eat it all for like 2 days. And I'm like, buddy, you can eat, but it has to go this way. Now they're all about it, but I don't know. I'm all about pressure too, though. We're definitely going to use pressure when we're training our dogs for sure, because I think life is all about pressure, and we're teaching them how to overcome it and how to problem solve and deal with everything else. So
And I think too, honestly, when you get a new dog in, so their world is rattled a little bit. They were chilling at some place that smells a certain way, and then they're in this fucking thing moving, and then they come and now here's this bald-headed dude. I have no idea who he is, and he's standing right in front of me, looking at me with his hand out. Granted, it's food, but that's a lot of pressure. It's actually a lot of social pressure on a dog, and when they're not saying they're nervy or nervous, I'm saying they're like confused a little bit, like what am I living? And so it's like we see with pet dogs a lot of times too, if they're nervous. And we're trying to get them to just look at us, maybe if they're not going to take food, but just give me a look. Even that's too much on those dogs. And I forget who told me that. And I'm like, I never really looked at it that way. But that turning, facing them is a lot of social pressure. So when I have those types of dogs, I'll turn and move away from them, try to get them, even if they're going to sneak my hand, take food from the back. I just turn and walk away from them. It's easier, I find, on those kind of dogs when their cage is rattled a little bit, it's easier to get them to follow you than recall to you, if that makes sense. Yeah. So if you're trying to jump on dogs early and work them a little or get something out of them, they got to follow you on a leash to go to the bathroom. They're just not going to come to you until they're like, I got to figure this out. I got to figure who this is, because that's not the dude. And what is he saying? Like,
yeah, they don't even know you.
No, why does this smell this way? That's why I I stopped forcing downs on dogs, pet and police dogs. I won't do it at all. I'll food lure it. I'll try a little pressure if they're going to take it. But if they're locked out, or if it looks like I'm about to get snapped on, I'm done. We'll self-discover some down. I'm not worried about it. And so it's helped a lot with that type of thing, because I'm trying to look at it from the dog's perspective. Who the fuck are you? Like, what is happening here? Fuck your food. You know what I mean? Like, if they could, they'd smack your hand away. Get their fucking shit. Who? Explain yourself, because you can't reason with them, right? So it's funny to see you on social media walking down the sidewalk with a little dog with you and doing all the stuff that we have to do, the pet dog stuff. You've heard my spiel. I talk in my classes and everything. It's in the early, like the first 2 slides of my e-collar book, or my e-collar seminar about training pet dogs. And I always ask, who fucks with pet dogs here? And then maybe 1 person, 2 people. And then I'm like, you all should be. All of you should be.
Know exactly what you've said over and over and over again. You want to become a better trainer, touch some pet dogs. These jokers do. We got unlucky when we first got here. I bet for the first 6 months, every dog that we had did not want to do anything at all. Anything. It took way too long to get to where we needed to be. I was playing around with a lot of different things, trying to get them there, but I learned a lot that I actually turn around and I use with these guys too. So
yeah, and that's the thing. Like, I have 3 adult pet dogs that I'm training right now, and none of them will take food. None of them. And one of them is about maybe 50% of the time. He's a German Shepherd. He's a really nice. So he trained up really well. He's really good. He goes home on Tuesday, but he started out. But then when what I was asking of him increased, his desire to work for food decreased. And then the other 2 are just, one's Chicken Little. This guy is falling at all times. She's never, ever going to take food. That's why people say, my dog and dogs you're training should never eat out of a bowl. Okay, stop. Fucking stop.
I don't know about that.
Stop. Stop with that. Stop saying that. Stop saying that. Do that with your dog. But open a pet dog business and see how the fuck well that goes. Shut up with telling people they should only ever feed their dog from their hand. Stop it. You can't. It's unrealistic. The dogs won't do it, and people have lives. What are they gonna do? Just not feed their dog? Fuck out of here with that crap.
You're gonna have a lot of skinny dogs.
Yeah, and if you're in business, a dog's losing weight is a death sentence for your business.
Yeah, I could go on an entire hour about that. but I'm not. I mean, the amount of controls we have in place at the kennel right now to prevent that from happening is ridiculous. Like we weigh dogs when they come in, we take pictures of them. They get weighed every 2 to 3
I take a picture of the screen on the scale.
Yep.
Even.
And we record the weight. We got a whiteboard with every dog that's in the kennel that gets written down so that we know what their weight is. And if they're overweight when they come in, we tell the family like they're probably going to be at the correct weight. I don't say they're going to lose weight. They're just going to be at the correct weight when they leave. So like, oh yeah, I've been through that. Believe me.
What is funny is I just did a Saint Bernard that was grossly overweight. He was 156 pounds when he came in, and he was a smaller guy. And so that was easy for me. I cut his food in half and worked the shit out of him. He lost 18 or 19 pounds, and he probably still could go a little bit further. But I just talked to the owner today. She said, man, he's like happy and bouncy. And before he just was a Buick with like a manifold problem. So what have you taken and put into the working dog side from the pets? What have you changed something or anything like that? Hey everybody, this episode and every episode is brought to you by our good friends, the Perkinsons down at Highland Canine. If you've been with us for a while, listened to every show, you've heard us talk about Highland, how they offer handler schools. You can buy green dogs. You can buy pre-trained dogs. They have a dog trainer school for dog trainers. It's amazing. But what they're really getting out in front of is the online courses. So if you're having trouble getting your agency to send you places to train, you have two options. You can get on Highland Canine, canine spelled out, highlandcanine.com, and look up some of their online courses. And guess what? They've given us a discount code for the online courses, HK930 for 30% off. HK930, 30% off their online courses. But also, if you don't want to do it online, you can host them. You can host them at your place. It's crazy. They'll come to you. You don't even have to go anywhere. You can just roll out of bed, go to work, and everybody else can come in and train at your place. Just reach out to them at Police Canine, K9, at HighlandCanine.com, HighlandCanine.com, or call 704-500-6810.
Yeah, I've done. I spend a little bit more time on the foundation side. I'm definitely a lot faster with a different way of doing pressure. I was never a big slip lead guy in the past. I love a slip lead now. I still use pinches. It depends on the dog because I've had some that does absolutely nothing to them, and then a pinch does everything. And then I'm also had dogs where nothing works. That, and then the biggest thing is moving to the food. Honestly, like I use food for. Honestly, I use food for imprinting odor now. So on these dogs, they're getting food because I get to rep that out. I don't have to fight them for a toy anymore afterwards. So when I'm done with a 5-minute session, I actually wrote it down. I videotaped it, and I had to go back and write down to see how many reps I got in that. It was like 4 minutes and 33 seconds. And it was something like 47 reps in odor in that amount of time going back and forth. I never had to take them out of the game of just running back and forth into odor.
So on the police dog side, one of the things that we've implemented at the Bulgarian facility, we don't actually obviously imprint the dogs on odor. I take that back. We do imprint them on what I call a neutral odor that they'll never come in contact with in the real, like an operational environment, either for narcotics or explosives. But what we actually reward is the hunting behavior and the correct identification. We don't worry about a final. We don't worry about anything else. And the trainers over there are shaping and capturing that hunting behavior because I mean, if you think about it, Billy and Eric both, when you guys were taught how to test hunt, what did you do? What was the way you were taught to test hunt?
For me, it was throw a ball out in the grass and let him go.
See how long he looks for it.
Yeah.
Right?
Tall grass. Yep.
And that's still a valid, 100%, that's still a valid, still very much still a valid test. In fact, I do it, depending on the dog. And, for me, somebody else told me this at one point, but they're like, there are very few dogs in the world. There are none, actually, that are working in any detection, whether it's for human beings or a substance, that we wash because of their inability to find target odor or identify it. We wash them because they won't look for it. I see it all the time. Like, this dog washed out because he has no hunt. He has no hunt. He has no hunt. And, there's various, ideas on where hunt comes from. Is it a manifestation of prey? Because I've seen a ton of dogs that are prey monsters as long as they can see something. If they can't see it, they want nothing to do with it.
And I got to look for it. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, obviously there's a prey component, but now we're kind of getting into the nature and nurture like conversation. And what I hope is that when these dogs come over from the project over there, that they understand how to work for food, they understand how to hunt, and then the only thing we have to do is identify novel odor and start marking the behavior, and it should spin up quickly. I've already done a couple, and when I did that entire litter of pointers that I had, that's how we started them. I worked those dogs for 2 months as puppies, so I'm talking 16 to 30 weeks old. They were from 6 months old to right before a year old, and kind of infrequently, so a couple times a week on the little tubes with indirect rewards with marking. And then they sat for 5 or 6 months, and then we got them out and we had them alerting finaling on target odor in less than a day, and the foundational work was done, and it was super easy to transfer it. And it didn't require a shit ton of maintenance. So it was very, very obvious to me at that time. I was like, oh, okay, I see what's going on here. I did the same thing with a litter of German Shepherds I raised. Shit, some of them have already died, so it's got to have been 10 or 11 years ago. And I did the exact same thing. And we ended up selling a bunch of them to single-purpose guys, like some guys in Illinois, Indiana, guys in Nebraska. And the consensus came back. They're like, these are the easiest dogs to train. They already know how to work for food. They already know how to hunt. All I have to do is show them the odor and where to look for it. I'm like, yeah. I mean, that's, so I guess that was like, what is that? It was 10 or 12 years ago.
Yeah, it was a while ago. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that was the tequila litter. I named them all after tequilas. And that was kind of the start of what I think. I was like, okay, there's something here, because we were getting dogs in from Europe that same thing. They won't eat out of my hand. They try and fucking bite me. Like, they don't know how to do any of that. And I mean, like, I'm sure, Billy, you've experienced this with your work side, like guys that come in that are young, that have no foundation with any dog training. And you're like, okay, I want you to feed this thing, and this is how you do it. And those guys are good because they play video games, right? Like, they got great timing, and teaching them how to work and how to handle should be easy. And you're like, ah, damn it, these fucking dogs don't know how to eat treats, man. Like, they don't know how to fucking eat.
Yeah, I will say though, it is like, we had a dog for my day job, not my CJ's dog. This dog was probably, I'm not gonna say disobedient. He was pretty disobedient though. Food and taking our time inside of 3 weeks. I mean, we had phenomenal. Actually, it was inside of a week, but as we progressed and got away from it and everything else and transitioned to a toy reward and everything, and this dog would not take food at first because he had never done it before either. And he had already been, at work for quite a few years. So we had to reprogram his brain. And what was awesome about it is we watched him go from like this spiraling out of control nutcase into a very level-headed dog just because we used food. But there's departments out there that freak out about it. I had a yellow lab, and I trained her. She hunted harder than probably any dog I've ever seen. She would never stop looking for odor. You couldn't pet her if you wanted to. She would just dodge you. She would have been perfect for one of those, like, what were they, vapor wake or whatever they used to do, person born explosive detection. She would have been phenomenal at it. And because she would never let you pet her. She just always wanted to work. She would not possess a toy to save her life, but she would go and work for food. I mean, she'd jump out of an airplane for food. So I actually had to go just to sell her and do a forced fetch with her and basically force her to hold a toy. Then she started going after toys, but I had to go through this whole process with her for about a month before she would ever hold a toy, just to get her sold because nobody would touch her.
Yeah, that's so weird, man. The guys can't help it either, too. They got to have that toy. They got to have it in their pocket. They got to have it all the time. And I'm like, so when I'm doing my classes, I tell we're going to do, so day 2, we do some healing, and we're going to work on your healing. Do not bring a toy on the field. No toys. Stop with the fucking toy. They can't help themselves. Can I give it at the end? Put the dog in the car at the end when we're done? Stop.
He's good. He's going to be okay, I promise.
Just stop. Yeah.
He's gonna be all
They
right.
can't. And it's not their fault, it's just ingrained on them. Play, 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 toy, 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 toy. And play is important. I'm not saying it isn't, but yeah, you got to get past that obsession. And still, like, I love it when I go to places and they're using food, and I'm like, wow, man, like, when did you start using this? And they're like, a couple of years ago, or years, or yeah. And I'm like, that's cool, man. Like, I was out in California, Southern California, and a couple of guys were using food that I was surprised to see. I was like, cool, So if you start using it, you'll get, like you said, so many more reps. And if you're training dual purpose dogs, there's a lot of work. There's a lot of things we got to do. I can't spend half my day getting a toy from you, running in a circle trying to put this damn thing in my pocket before you bite it.
Oh my God.
And so, like, this episode started out by me kind of talking to Billy about what we should expect now in 2026 coming from over there. And, this kind of leads like right into that. And, we talked about how I think that the training has definitely changed, obviously, with food. And the training has changed on both sides, on here and in Europe, because they're using, they're covertly using pressure, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, steel toe boots.
He was like, the couple dogs I've got in that were like, I know came from a place that you're not allowed to use that stuff. Like, and they didn't know how to use food. The dog didn't know how to take food. I was like, well, he didn't learn to heel by himself. So, I mean, I know how they did it, but like, and I'm obviously not saying that we need to change the way that we select dogs, because I think all of the normal, like, environmental stability and now sociability and health and like all the things that we normally worry about. But like, Billy, what are you looking at and like adding to the selection criteria for the patrol and the other dogs that that are not in law enforcement but are on the other side? What is the additional criteria that you're looking at?
This episode is brought to you by DOGTRA, DOGTRA official, DOGTRA.com. You guys have heard us talk about it. We've been with DOGTRA for a long time. We love them. They're amazing people. We love their product. There's so many different things that they do. The 1900S, the hands-free. They got all kinds of things, poppers, droppers, all kinds of different things with their e-collar. But I have been a proponent of their YS600 bark collars for a long time. Everybody knows I talk about it. When I had the kennel open, I would come in and show videos of all the dogs being quiet. The YS600, they have the YS300 for smaller dogs. But here's the thing, guys. They just came out with a bark collar called the Smart Bark Collar. Dude, this thing is amazing. It attaches to an app on your phone. You can control everything out of it, see in real time what's working, what isn't working with the dog. But here's the kicker. It catches whining. That's the big deal with that Smart Bark Collar. It catches the whining, because we all know your dogs learn to whine underneath the threshold of other bark collars, and it's super annoying. But with that Smart Bark Collar, it catches the whining. And in the app, while it's working, you can just reach up and hit the vibrate button. There's a little button on your thing that'll vibrate that if that seems to work a little bit better for your dog. Or you can actually administer your own stim as a little bit extra if need be. You can set minimums, maximums, sensitivity levels to pick up that whining. Check out dogtra.com. They have a discount code WDR10, 10% off a single item over $200. But check out that Smart Bark Collar, guys. It is amazing. We've been messing with it in my facility, and my employees absolutely love it. Check them out, dogtra.com.
Well, ideally, perfectly. I want a dog that is naturally quiet. I hate when they teach dogs to bark. I never want to hear a dog bark ever again for the rest of my life. It's like, I'm serious. My first dog, I thought it was the coolest thing in the world. I had this Ferrari, and all we did was step on the gas the whole time. And I mean, that could not have been good for my hearing in the back of the car, trying to call out vehicle pursuits and everything else. Like, nobody can hear what I'm doing, where I'm at. I know, me yelling at them.
Yeah.
That being recorded.
Yeah, you look like a crazy person in the car.
Yeah, if I had a camera on me half the time, you would have been like, what is happening? And how are you doing all this multitasking right now? But I would say quiet and stable. I don't environmentally stable for sure, but there's some things that these dogs have never seen. There's things that we have here that they may not have in Europe. Just like our homes. Yeah, there's a lot of things. So there's some things that I don't care that they've never seen something and they kind of go, whoa, what was that? That's kind of weird. They don't have those in Europe. As long as they recover from it fast and that becomes nothing. And it's not everything that we run into. So I don't care that if, you know what I mean? Example, I had a dog recently that came in and I promise you, he's never seen a ceiling fan a day in his life. We walked everywhere. He bites everything. He's not scared. He wants to pick a fight with everybody we see for no reason outside of whoever's holding the leash. And we walk in this one room and he goes, I don't know how he even saw it. And he goes, whoa, what was that? And he looks, probably because he's caught an overhand from somebody at some point. But so he like goes like this, and then he shapes up and goes, okay, I'm good. Walks in. It was actually in a bathroom. So I give him a little bath real quick. We come out and then I bring him right back in and he does not even care. I didn't even look at it a second time. So things like that don't bother me. And when we talk about social, I personally, as long as I can get them over it at some time, I don't care that the dog is only social with the person that's holding the leash at first. That doesn't bother me as long as they're social with that person who's holding the leash. I don't need to worry about going to the hospital every time I pull a dog out of a kennel. That's the only social side that I need personally. If they try to snap at every human that they see, cool. I will teach you how to be stable around everybody else and who is a target and who is not a target. I mean, that works with about 99% of the dogs that I have put through my team movement course. But I've had a few where I'm like, I don't know that you're ever not going to bite anybody that's in front of you. But every other dog, I mean, I've had guys come up and they're like, my dog bites everybody's in front of him. He's bit 6 cops. He's done this. We put him through. Next thing you know, I've got all kinds of people playing with him, handling him, sending him into rooms, listening to everybody. And then all of a sudden you go dark, you've got nods on and they're doing the exact same thing. So it takes a little time and you just got to be willing to go through the progression of it. But so the social
So
side
you
of
still
it-
offering that type of stuff, like team movement seminars and stuff?
Yeah, yep. I'm still teaching at ATK9 as long as nothing jumps in the way of that in the future. But I'm signed up to do it this year. I've got actually, I don't even know what the date is right now, but I'm flying out to Colorado in 2 weeks. I sold the dog to Matt Foster with Kingdom Canine. Great dude. Great dude. I trained him up, little crazy Dutchie. Yeah. He builds really good equipment. I've got everything literally right behind the camera right now. I keep looking at it. I've got all of his odor boxes, which me and him developed together, but his position boxes with his everything else. So,
Dude,
great
his
dude.
t-shirts are the softest thing ever.
They're amazing.
Like, dude, it's crazy. I'm like, every time I'm like, I know it could be folded up inside out. I know exactly what shirt that is when I reach in there. I've said some really weird stuff about his shirts that you could do with it because it's so soft, but I'm not gonna say that here.
Not on the podcast.
No,
Yeah.
no. I told it to him. I'm like, you could. Never mind. I'm not gonna.
It's soft enough.
If you were lonely,
But what's nice about
I was just going to say the one thing that I look for is engagement with a handler. And I don't, because it's kind of a double-edged sword. Like, I don't want a dog that's so dependent on me that like they're refused to range, and especially for tracking, or like area searches, building searches. But if they're so independent that I can't get control of them, it's also a problem. And it's typically dogs that have been like just spun up and back tied, and they have not necessarily no human interaction, but they're not like, the human is not part of the training process and not part of the handling process. That typically gets, like, when we get dogs like that, especially ones that know how to bite, they're like, well, fuck it, I'll bite this dude and I'll get what I want. I'm like, no, you won't either. So, and then the food side, I can usually correct pretty quickly, but that's really the only thing that I kind of like add to, like, all the normal shit that we look for: dark room, slick floors, loud noises, like whatever, if they bite correctly, if they know how to target, whatever, all the normal stuff that people talk about now. And it's weird. So when we talked about this yesterday, I kind of went back and listened to, I think it's episode 3, where we had Subtle on, and like, everybody listening to this knows fuck Mike, and the guy has done a shit ton in this industry and has done a ton for breeding and working dogs on this side of the ocean, and has done a ton with departments and JSOC and whatever. Magnificent trainer, funny dude, nice guy. And even that conversation, I would say, and that conversation is Eric's what, 8 years old now, 8 or 9 years old. And in that conversation, we've even moved past that. And because I was kind of like, okay, I know what we're going to talk about today, and I'm going to kind of listen to a little bit of this, aside from the audio being absolutely horrible. The content was good to listen to just because I was like, man, even in this short time frame, the way that we select dogs has changed. And because I used to because Eric, you get sick of it too. We get to people ask us, they're like, do a selection episode. I'm like, fuck, I feel like I've done 50 of them. And then I went back and was like, you know what? I mean, it has, substantially changed. And I think the training has changed and the pool of dogs has changed. And you see all them old dudes, and I say old dudes, but I mean like old guys that are, older than Eric even. And they're like, oh, dogs are softer now. And I'm like, they're not softer. They're just, I don't know that they're softer. I just think that the dogs that you selected to train based on how you train. Because I mean, I'll be honest, like I know what I'm good at and what type of dogs that suit my training style and my handling style, versus, some people that are, because I personally hate a dog that's in my shit all the time. He has his job, I have mine, and it's a very transactional thing with he and I. And that's what I prefer. I don't like the fucking Velcro dogs. In fact, it's super annoying. And it causes a ton of problems anyway. And, when you hand a dog like that to a new handler, it magnifies because they're new and they're like, oh, this dog likes me. I'm like, bro, he does not like you. He likes his toy. He likes his reward. He doesn't give a shit about you. And getting that through people's heads, I think a lot of times causes a problem. But the exact opposite. I've had dogs hurt handlers' feelings because they're like, he acts like he doesn't like me. I'm like, he doesn't. Like, you're the fucking chauffeur, bro. Like, he doesn't like you. He tolerates you, which is fine. He's your fucking work dog. What do you care?
Uber driver, take me.
Yeah. Take me to where this guy started to run, and we'll find him.
All right. So where people want to get a hold of you about maybe some of the team movement stuff, what do they how do they do that?
Somebody that's been with us since the beginning is Arnaud at ALM, based out in Vegas. Arnaud makes fantastic bite suits. I've been a senior level PSA decoy for a long time. All of my trial suits are ALMs. I love them. I've sent my one jacket back multiple times to have new sleeves put on it because it fits so well. Arnaud works with you through the process, helps you get a design set up. In fact, when I went out to see him in Vegas, he had my original design still in my original pattern still in the workshop there, and he was able to make me another jacket just out of the one that I have that's like 10 years old. He made me another one. Super high quality materials, super high quality stitching. Great service after the fact if you have to have repair work done. Hit him up, ALM Canine Equipment. That's the letter K number 9.com. ALM Canine Equipment. Use this discount code WD Radio for 10% off. Another person that has been with us since the beginning is the person that wrote the music for the intro and the outro on this. His name's Brother Dege. He's no longer with us. He's a super talented musician, and I actually met him at a live show here in Tulsa. Super nice guy. He was super supportive of what we do here and what police dogs do in general. And he was gracious enough to allow us to use the music for that. Yeah, wherever you're at, you can look at him on iTunes and on Spotify. Just Brother Dege, spelled Dege, and it's brotherdege.net.
Most people actually still, you can hit me up at, we do most of our stuff through Bellator Canine still. I'm still working with Brian. I created CJ's dog training because he's too good of a friend for me to create any kind of rift with financial stuff. So there's some things that I'm doing on my own, especially with moving, that and no longer in the working as a cop, that it just allows me to keep pots a little separate and our friendship good, because he's a great dude and I'd never do anything to mess it up. So most of that stuff still goes through Bellator. So you can hit us up at info@bellatorcanine.com. You can follow us at that on social media as well. Instagram normally is where most everything's at nowadays, even though I'm getting old, hitting the era where we're going to be on Facebook only here pretty soon. So, but CJ's dog training is on there as well. And then Billy Sawyer _K9 as far as Instagram's concerned. But obviously with the new job, I will say it's slowed down a little bit though. So trying to schedule it out is getting a little bit harder as far as being able to do some of these courses, but we're still making it happen. We're trying to talk some agencies into, hey, let's train on the weekends, which actually opens up more venues half the time, but they're working on the weekends anyway.
That's tough.
Like, We get away from
Yeah,
admins
yeah.
and everything else. Let's do it. So, but I take vacation. We go out and we're getting things done. So
That's cool. Ted, what about you? How people get a hold of you?
Ted_Summers on Instagram if you want funny memes and pictures of dogs biting people. That's pretty much what I put on there. And yeah, and then Torchlight Canine, Torchlight Pets, and then HRD. We've got seminars. Ray and I are going to be in Iowa at their DLE certification, and then we're going to do the Colorado Police Canine Association thing. Also, I think it's September if I remember correctly. And then we've got HRDs in, where else? We got the Welks Bar and somewhere else I forgot off the top of my head. And I just got back from one in Oklahoma City, so which was good. We had a good one in Oklahoma City. We had a lot of agencies there, so it was fun. We had like 18 guys, so yeah. Oh, and obviously working_dog_radio.
Get on workingdogradio.com. Get some merch on there, guys. Real cool, Billy. I'm glad we got to talk to you. We haven't got to see you in a while.
yeah, I know. It's
Now
been
that
a
you have
little
a
bit.
day job, bullshit.
It's kind of day, night, whenever I'm needed. So
Yeah, I got to get out there and see you. I like that, San Diego area. I'm going to California 3 more times this year so far, but up north mostly.
well, let's schedule you and get you guys out here to play. So
All right, I'll do it.
Go. Yeah, fuck yeah.
I know.
All right,
Guys, good tacos. So
I got to go. It's Good Friday. I got to go to church, so I'm out.
right on.
All right.
Right on. All right, guys.
See you
Talk
guys.
to you guys soon.
Welcome to Working Dog Radio